Hello there, Surfroom17 once again. This is my Halo 5 Legendary Lone Wolf walkthrough. This is mission 13, it is called Genesis, and this very beginning section is a pain in the balls. It's not that it's hard, it's just that if you don't push up quite aggressively, you will fall off because this world is all shifting and shit. The jump is floaty and weird and just nonsensical physics, and if you go too far and you don't kill certain enemies, they can kill you. And the checkpoint is at the beginning of all this bullshit, so it actually took me about 3 or 4 attempts to get down this flank, just because of just nuisanceness. But the last level was called the Battle of Sunayon, something like that. I just saw the word, so I can say it a bit better. And this mission is a little bit shorter than the last one, which is nice, but it's still got some tricky moments in it. And it's going to have another another Warden fight. You should get used to the Warden fights at this point because you're going to be doing one pretty much in these next 2 missions. And the one in mission 14 it's pretty hellacious. It's not that hard, but it's hard enough to make you really question if you can do it. And the level's called The Breaking, and it's really apt because I do think that mission in particular is going to break a lot of people who don't have the fortitude to beat Legendary. And I don't think that that's an insult, it's just a fact. Because it's really, really, really questionable at times. But we come back to another one of those green worlds that have the weird fauna on them. Or is it flora? I always forget which one is animal, which one is plant life. But I do like this environment. And I do like the fact that I think on this particular sequence, we don't have to do much. We just go and get immediately in a tank, which I was really grateful for because I was having flashbacks to that level not so long ago, where we did a lot of shooting here, and I didn't want to do a lot of shooting here at all. But this is exuberant. It is one of the crazy... It's the last boss from... Is it Halo 4 that had that as the last boss? I can't remember. Fucking terrible boss. I think it might have been Halo 3 actually. Oh, do you remember that? Were you with that black dude who was like a captain? I forget his name. Oh, it was so funny. But very Portal inspired, very, modern game inspired audio commentary by this robot, where it's almost naive in its logic systems, so it'll say quite almost childlike and innocent things. But it's an interesting narrative tool. I don't dislike it. Unlike this particular section, which I'm not the biggest fan of. So we're going to get in the Scorpion. Make sure you pick up a light rifle so you've got a good gun. They're a wonderful tool, dude. I cannot recommend this weapon enough. It works, and that's what you need. And then we're going to get inside the tank. So there is an achievement for getting this tank to the end of the mission on Legendary, which I did not do. The checkpoint on this particular sequence is not bad, but it's enough to get you frustrated. My only problem with the tank is that it just doesn't seem to do the damage it should. It seems to be a theme of the game. I don't know why I feel so neutered in this particular Halo, because I don't remember feeling neutered in the last one. But it might be the same, it might just be my memory failing me, and it happens, But I always felt empowered in the tank until this game. So, whatever they tweaked, whatever they changed, I just don't think it's good enough. And then we have the Guardians turning up, and I love how they assemble. It reminds me so much of Zone of the Enders, but it's still cool. I don't know why I said it's still, reminding me of Zone of the Enders is in any way a bad thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. Those games were... Well, the first one was a bit shit, but the second one was amazing. And the first one had great ideas, it was the same smoke and mirrors issues that this game has at the end. It was way too obvious that all you were doing on that game was flying to the next area, fighting the same things, and listening to fucking Ada say, "You have obtained the Metatron ore." And it just didn't diversify the gameplay enough, so it got boring really quick. And there was depth to it, just not enough. And then the second one came out, and it was so goddamn interesting all the time, I felt, that it really remedied a lot of issues that I had. And you didn't have to do that flying between zones bullshit that bored my tits off either. But one of the best strategies in the tank is distance. because at distance you have the advantage. A lot of games work like this on the hardest difficulty, this one is no different. But you're going to be pushing forward, and the game has some really dishonest spawning moments. There's going to be sequences where you trip a checkpoint and then a bunch of laser turrets spawn, and you cannot get away from them fast enough to not take big damage. And if you don't know that they're there, you can put yourself in a really bad spot. And I just disagree with that kind of gameplay, but every game does it at some point. So you can't be too harsh, it's just one of those designs. But that spawn is not too bad, I don't mind that spawn. It's the one with the laser turrets where you move forward and they just materialise. There's no warning, they're just kind of there. But keep your distance, use cover, and kick some ass. And I think that's another one of the things I don't remember having really to do too much. I don't remember having to play like such a coward in the tank. Once again, I know it wasn't infallible. There was a big round off a knight, and there's the laser turret doing big damage to me. See what I mean? I pushed forward into a bad spot there, and now my tank's on fire. So, bad play from me put me in a really bad spot. And your tank doesn't seem to heal in any kind of way, so you're going to be carrying it between checkpoints, and you will get to a point where your tank has no life at all if you're not playing too well, and I'm not going to play the best. The good news is, you can do a lot of this on foot, and I'm going to display exactly that. And then directly after the little foot section is going to be a fight against the Warden. And I say a fight against the Warden, I believe there are two, which should be preparing you for what's coming. And I know I've already mentioned it, but I cannot stress enough just how much of a bait and switch of a last boss it is. I was expecting something truly great. Like I was expecting to fight Cortana or something. You know, fight the Master Chief. Master Chief goes all mentally fucked up or something and you have to fight him. And I think that would have been a much better fight. Instead, here's 3 versions of that boss you didn't like. And now you don't have a safe spot. So good luck. Because he loves focus turrets and you're going to realise just how much he loves them by just how much that stupid Spartan mentions just how much he brings them with him. But there's a couple of Banshees giving us some grief, and I am on fire. You know, you'd think Tanaka would put it out or do something, but it's not that kind of fire that ever really goes anywhere. It's just, you know, that cosmetic fire that makes you look cooler and goes through geometry, apparently. It is affected by physics though, it seems, which is nice to see. But up here is a checkpoint coming up, and as you push forward there's going to be a very sneaky turret, a very sneaky tank, like a bunch of really sneaky enemy placements that are probably going to catch you out and kill you a few times. And then there's just this, if you get unlucky and you get hit by that round, you're dead. And if you're on as much fire as I am, you're probably in a Crank sequel, or a Nicolas Cage film. I saw a meme the other day where it was like, if you're in a Nicolas Cage film, the dialogue is either whispered or screamed, and everything is on fire. And it made me laugh, but, you know, now I look back at it, it's not actually that funny, but it just caught me off guard, I think. But Exuberant is just chilling, and I get out of the tank. So you might be thinking, Chris, what are you doing? This is one hell of a trek. And it's dangerous, it is, but my tank is one shot, and I got killed enough times to really not want to be in it. So instead, I come and get in this beast. However, this beast is fast at times and then slow at times, and this is that awful spawn. So there's a laser turret, and then to my left there's going to be a knight, I think, and another turret, and there's the other turret. And all I'm doing here is boosting, because I want to skip everything. Boost, 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 boost. I'm going to try and kill this turret, and then I aimed terrible just then. And I'm going to try and get out of the tank before I die, because it's getting very close to being killed. Now that that turret is dead, and I have some cover, I'm going to get out just here. And I'm hoping for a checkpoint. I'm actually clipping with the tank, but I'm getting shot by the dropship, which I always find incredibly dishonest, but what can you do? And it's not a dropship, sorry, it's one of those ones we flew. I forget the name of it. Shitty hover plane thing. It's a perfect name. But I just got a checkpoint, so now I can be fearless, because I don't have to do that silly courtyard area we just went through again, which I really didn't like on my recording run. It's just a time sink. And then I'm just going to skip all this bullshit by boosting over here, and I'm hoping I'm going to get another checkpoint, or it's going to trigger a cutscene. And it's loading, and I believe a checkpoint's about to turn up, so I didn't get shot, I'm all in one piece. The Warden's speaking, we're triggering exposition, and we got past that sequence, so it is a strategy that will work, and it is a strategy that will save you time, so I'm very glad that that's the way it went. But there's a checkpoint, so now I'm like, yep, I can push forward without fear. And there is a little bit more exposition here from Warden Eternal, which is the dude's name. And as soon as you get to here, I think there's going to be another checkpoint coming up, and this is where you're going to have to fight a bunch of Prometheans and a couple Wardens. So there is a ton of good weapons here, which is really, really useful. I wish that those were battle rifles, because I think the assault rifle is still a kind of a shitty gun, but in the grand scheme of shitty guns, it's one of the better ones. But yeah, 2 Wardens, because it turns out the Warden has as many bodies as he wants. He's kind of like Prince. But the only tricky part of this is getting a bad checkpoint or getting hit by something that you didn't see. For instance, if you pop up to try and start doing this, and he's already fired that lock-on gold laser thing, it's a one-shot. You know, you can't do anything. If it hits. You can dodge it, but if it hits, you're dead. And once again, that's kind of not true, because it can graze you, but it very rarely grazes you, so do not, you know, rely on the fact it's going to graze you. Always wait to the last possible instance, just as you feel he's going to fire it, and then dodge. But focus on the knights first, get rid of them. I'm trying to hit his little engine thing, I'm not having any of it. But he died, so you can't be angry. And we got a checkpoint, which is always useful. So, two Wardens, like, it's just so dumb. It's really dumb. It truly is. He looks so good, and I do like him, but by the end of this game on Legendary, you're going to hate him. And it's not even his fault. It's just the way he's been designed. Like, he's such a nasty boss. He really is. And if he stood around like this a lot, it wouldn't be a problem. It's when he pulls that sword out and he gets rush happy. It's a nightmare. But there is the negative energy ball. The Warden to the right can actually fire at you here, but he should hit the debris between you and him. He shouldn't be able to get a clear shot on you, so you shouldn't have to worry. But, like, this is not exactly challenging, is it? I'm clipping and I'm shooting a dude in the face, so I just think it's a shame that this is what it becomes. Like, you have this boss character who is so lethal, this is how you have to play. And it doesn't make this section very interesting. Like, people watching it now, all I am doing is propping my chin on the ramp and shooting this dude with my forehead. That's what I'm doing. And it's nothing special, it's nothing new. And it really takes away some of the value of this particular sequence, but I think I've already mentioned, some of these last levels, it's gunfight, 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 and then nothing. Like, this one was a little different at the beginning, because it had that weird running down the thing, then it had the tank stuff, then it had this, which is not too bad, but the next one, yeah, the next one's terrible for it. Like, I would go as far as to say that Genesis as a mission is one of the better ones, because it has a nice to and fro of different things. And there's a doggy, so shoot him in the face, stupid dog. Hate those fucking dogs. Or crawlers if you want to be literate on Halo fiction. So what we got here? Battle rifle sitting on the side. Railgun sitting on the side. Definitely going to pick that up. I really like the look of this gun. I just don't think it's good enough to warrant using. And it sucks because it's a railgun. The railgun in Quake 2 was absolutely amazing. You shot things with that, they died. Shot people in the multiplayer with that, they died. Like, it's exactly what a railgun should be. Did you see Eraser? People weren't surviving that Eraser gun. That's why it was called the Eraser gun in a film called Eraser, because it was amazing. And then there's this thing that's just... it just doesn't do the business. Very sad. Oh, I'm getting bombed. And how does that not kill them, dude? One punch to kill. Nobody wants to punch anything twice. I don't care if it's on Legendary. Stop making your game feel non-fun. Oh, a couple more shots. A mandatory reload between each shot as well, which is why you would think that this would be much more powerful than it is. But there goes the first Warden. Second Warden's just over there. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to push towards him. We're going to get on that ramp and try and clip him. But I think that this one is a little bit trickier to do because it doesn't have the same geometry. I'm going to back up, pick up a new gun, and then we're going to back up on ourselves once again, and we're going to take him on. A couple of things to bear in mind here. I think another knight spawns and a couple more soldiers, so you have to put up with those guys. Yeah, they are. They're there. So they're just going to pull focus and draw your attention. They're not anything special. They're the same enemy they've always been, but every so often they can be an asshole. And that right there was a checkpoint, if you're wondering. So focus on taking down the knight. There he goes. And now we can hopefully get into a clip spot to kill kill the Warden. There is a Crawler. See you later, Crawler. I think the Warden might have moved, you know. He might have teleported to the middle, maybe? Or is it just a big spawn of enemies? Yeah, I think this is just a little gauntlet of enemies. But I don't understand the Knights. It's like they understand that scatter shot is a piece of shit, so they don't use it unless they're really close, and then it stops being a piece of shit. It actually becomes legitimately threatening then. But they're an enemy that has a sword and a shotgun. It doesn't make sense. It's two weapons that do the same thing. So I'm not too sure why they're designed that way. Although I'm glad they are, because it means that they're very easy to control and they're even easier to kill. But this is me going flat auto on the Warden, getting checkpoints galore. Really effective weapon, this. I love this gun. It's one of the guns that you have to fire a lot, but it doesn't feel like you're firing piss. It actually feels like you're doing something. So there goes the second Warden. You can always tell it does that very dramatic noise. There's the checkpoint. And the only thing left to do now is push on. So I'm going to back up to the little cache of ammunition, get as many things as I can, and then we're going to take all the stuff that we found into the you know, the second to last mission, like Santa Claus on Christmas Eve, and hopefully it's going to pay off. So there is a nice railgun to augment our arsenal, and we've got a battle rifle with a decent amount of bullets. It's not as many as I would like, but then again, there's not enough on this difficulty at any one given time to please me, because I don't think giving you 32 shots in a gun when it takes 5 to 10 shots to kill someone is a good idea. But keep on pushing forward, guys. Follow Exuberant. She's going to show the way. And yeah, the next mission is very difficult. You take care now.